Coming up on Drama Queens.
Hello, everybody. Ariane
it's real. Sometimes a man in an adventure and feels so
always
wonderful.
just talk every time I start, bro.
The
Drax. This is how man cries. Why? Oh, I'm going through. Oh.
Yeah, so basically my question is, how arrogant were you guys, and how has your mindset changed from beginning Calarts to now?
And now, the episode.
Hello, everybody. Ariane
it's real. Sometimes a man in an adventure and feels so wonderful.
Just talk every time I start, bro.
You queued me up for the iCarly intro.
Just look at this.
Dude, I wanted to be Spencer so bad
with Johnny
when I was
Depp.
a kid.
Have you
I have seen that movie,
Cry
actually.
Baby with Johnny Depp?
I've seen Cry. I
Well,
love
you're
Cry
looking
Baby.
right
I mean,
at
it's not the best movie.
He's like,
You want to take that intro again, where I don't? So
I mean, I'm glad you did
know
that.
what
I
I'm
think
gonna
that's
say.
got to be the real intro.
are we recording? Are we on? I never know when we're actually recording. When are we on? When have
Well,
we
you started
started
recording, and so I'm recording now with you as well.
We're
Okay,
we're
so
in.
have you
recording.
started?
We're in,
Okay,
baby.
so we're in.
I have.
This is it. They're
And Max has
listening
been
to us right
recording.
now. It's chaos.
It's happening, dude.
I mean, that's
It's all
what I'm
happening.
saying. I don't know. We gotta all say we'll start the video from here.
Okay, we'll start
Anyway,
the video
for those who-
from...
20 seconds ago,
Here.
about.
We'll start it from here. Goom. You seen Cry Baby? Johnny
Goom.
Depp.
I have seen Cry, but should we intro first, though?
The intro is whether or not you've seen Cry Baby.
Okay, have
Yeah.
you? I've seen Cry Baby. Max, have you seen Cry Baby?
I have not
I'm joking.
seen
We can
Cry
introduce
Baby.
yourselves. Go first. Go first, Max.
My name is Max Udell, and I have not seen Johnny Depp's Cry Baby.
Okay.
I'm Jeremy Griffith, at Not Funny Funny Guy on all the socials. I, like Ariane, 2 out of 3 drama queens, we have seen Cry Baby. He has a single tear. Iconic.
My name is Ariane Kassam. I'm here on an O1 visa, and I have seen Cry Baby.
Can I ask a
Alright.
question to
Yeah.
you,
Did it.
Ariane?
Absolutely not.
Is there a
Why even ask me?
practical reason you always bring up? Like, I'm just genuinely curious because you always bring up the visa. Is it like a meme you're doing, or is there an actual reason you bring it up?
It's part of my name,
Okay.
part of who I am,
Sure.
and it's also.
I am
Told you,
Ariane
bro,
That's how I
Kassam,
identify.
and I am here.
I want to go off the
on
bat.
an
My name is
O1
Ariane Kassam,
visa.
and I can legally work here. Even this podcast, I'm legally
There we
doing
go.
this here, legally in this country, legally speaking.
Is it
I'm
legal?
here on a No1 visa.
Yeah.
Huh? Well, it's not illegal because I got the visa.
So the next... I feel like the next political tribes that are going to emerge is like this. It's about your visa status. And there's going to be the O1 visa people. And they'll be vehemently opposed to...
Maybe.
I don't know what other visas there are. You know?
There's so many.
anyway.
That's the funniest thing.
Welcome to episode 3?
4? 4?
4. Well, the other one was
Well, do
the
we
lost
want to
one.
count the lost episode as an... Okay, so we had a lost episode that was on 3.
3.5. Yeah, our whole count's fucked because we had a 0 and...
Let's just go with 4. Let's just say this is
it's
episode
4 and 3. It's out
What
there.
are numbers?
But, that was a tough one. It was
Yeah.
a tough one for all of us.
I know.
Just,
It was
just
hard.
actually just to be there.
Yeah. And, you know, just to when we became aware that Ariane's recording had stopped recording, it was tough for a while. I had a lot of existential doubts. I was like,
we
dude,
did
I'm
have-
setting aside
But
time. And you
whatever.
guys are as well. I'm just being, dude, I'm fucking taking the piss.
I know, we had a good conversation.
Maybe my
that was
tone
fun.
wasn't communicated to the lag.
Have either of you ever heard
Last
the
week.
phrase taking the thumb? I heard someone...
I have not.
Taking the thumb up your ass.
Oh, the thumb up the ass. Okay, that makes sense. I should have pieced that one together.
Is that what it is?
I was
Okay,
watching
where
a
do they say
review
that?
of
Whereabouts in the world?
I was watching.
Yeah,
I think he's British. I was watching a game review. I think it's WIB. Would I buy or? I was watching some game review and he made a joke at the end and he's like, "I'm just taking the thumb," and I'm like, "What the?" It was such a unique phrase, but
that must be no. That
I'm putting
in
my
that
finger in
context,
my bum.
it's like you're taking the piss. You're taking the piss. You're
right, but
having a joke, having a laugh.
Yeah, by sticking your
Taking
own
a
thumb
piss
up
and
your
taking
ass.
a thumb.
Having a bit of a laugh.
I guess so.
Bruv. It's
I
having a
guess
bit of a
that's I guess that's what they're on right now. But anyway.
That's what they're on. 01 visas
Dude,
and thumbs.
what I want to
week?
know. 01 visa. That's what. Well, me and Max were talking about it before we were recording, so I guess we could talk about it again. But Ariane, what was the most influential showbiz related thing that happened to you this past week? That's like on your mind.
Influential.
Max hates my question. That's why I'm not a big interviewer.
That's not what you asked. That's not what we were talking about. You said you asked me what did you watch
No, it's
this
not.
week?
It's not.
And now you're asking Ariane what is the most influential showbiz thing? That's a completely different question.
We're recording now. It's a
Like that
different
I've
ball
watched
game.
or
You
that
gotta
I've been
turn
a
it on
part
for the
of?
people, dude.
Jesus.
Gotta turn it on.
That's just totally
gotta
a different question than what we were talking
Squeeze
about.
out the juice. But we're gonna ask you that next, Max. Because now we're recording. Now it's hardball. Now So at a certain point, the soft balls gotta go away.
Soft
Hey, look,
balls
we're both-
away.
You're drinking Topo Chico.
I got the topo. Jeremy's got. What do you got?
Well, it's called Strange Love. It's like
Keeping
yuzu
hydrated.
infused sparkling water. Yeah. You
Ariane?
don't have a drink,
I'm just going
Ariane?
dry.
How you gonna
I
podcast
don't have
about
a drink now.
Ariane,
He's just letting his saliva
Ariane.
accumulate. But yeah, tell us, Ariane.
what is the most influential
Well, I think-
showbiz thing that's happened?
I'll tell you what the most uninfluential was the bloody Zack Snyder Army of the Dead. That was absolute crap. Bob Cock, titty wag,
This sounds like a good place to start.
wanker ball, crap. It was not a vibe, bro. That was just like I said. I was speaking to you guys about it. I spoke to Max, right? Like, I think that the first 5 minutes, or maybe I don't even know if it was 5 minutes, but just that initial increment that they had in the beginning, that they looked like they put most of the budget towards, was great, and then everything else after that just dwindled, and was just kind of corny.
Now
in my opinion.
you saw this in theaters, not on
I
Netflix.
saw it. I literally saw it in theaters, and it was just like,
Literally.
yeah.
Literally.
I just
paid to
didn't
see a
vibe with
movie
it,
that he
you know?
could have seen in Netflix.
Yeah,
What?
cool. I
What
thought
could
that
the, and also me
surely
saying
would have
that, I
made
don't
the
want to
movie
give
better.
the wrong. Oh, sorry. What would have? Oh, seeing it in theaters. I think that too. Like I would have
Yeah,
thought
that's what I
action, zombies. I would have thought the movie experience would also. I would have done that as
Zack
well.
Snyder.
But I want to know, Ariane, what could Zack Snyder have done? What did you want from the movie?
Okay,
that
I'll tell
it
you.
didn't give you.
I'll tell you. It was.
Okay.
I'll tell you. It was set in Vegas, right? I wanted to see some zombies playing blackjack, roulette, like doing Vegas. Have you seen Zombieland?
So
like at least they show what, bruv?
The complaint.
Max, he asked me. No. That's just one. That's just one. The story. If you want my number, he asked me
One of
what I would
many.
do, what I would want to see from it. He said what I would want to see from it. Better acting is one. The second thing would be
Zombies
what I
playing
actually want is
blackjack is two.
yeah. Why not? We're just seeing more about
That'd be
Vegas.
so funny, dude.
More about Vegas and more about like yeah, exactly, bruv. You would have laughed. There was nothing. All the stuff in the movie I thought was just kind of corny, like. Everything about
Yeah.
it, the plot.
So 3 is to
Just
not
the
be a Zack
dialogue.
Snyder movie.
Well, yeah. I mean, I enjoyed 300. That was a great movie at the time. But you know what? Someone mentioned the point of when you have characters that that are very egotistical, and when you have characters that are basically like very aggressively, I don't know, in that world, 300, those slow-mo pans and that story and the dialogue doesn't really matter. It was more so the ego and like ego and energy of these characters mixed with that cinematography matched it. But when you have altruistic characters, or like characters that are seemingly good in a way, and you're showing all these like kind of shots that are trying to make them egotistical, like they had a slow-mo in that movie. I don't know, spoiler, it's not really a spoiler. What the girl in the movie has a slow-mo. You know how Zack Snyder loves his bloody slow-mo pans, and he's doing the slow-mo thing, and the girl is just doing this. She's just nodding up and down in slow motion. And it was just like, that's not like, it worked for 300,
Ridiculous.
but like her just,
Tig Notaro?
it was just, you know.
Are you referring to Tig Notaro?
Is that her name?
I think, isn't she in that? Is she?
The comic who they
I'm
replaced
not,
Crystalia
I'm not
with.
familiar. Bautista's daughter.
I don't know.
Batista,
Okay.
you know the big
I
ass
feel
guy?
like Tig Notaro would
His
not
daughter,
play
yeah,
Batista's daughter.
exactly.
Right.
How was
okay,
Batista's
so it's the
acting?
girl that-
Was it an improved?
Oh my god.
Compared to
Bruv,
Drax.
this is how man cries. No, the guy tries to seem emotional just for, I wish like the audience could see me right now, but it's just like, his eyes are just like, it's like he's just being like, why, and like trying to force some like tears, like you know that
can
face that
imagine it.
actors make. It's just like, oh, I'm going through, and it's just like,
Yeah.
he just squinted his eyes to try and make himself physically cry, and I think it just didn't. I don't know, bruv. The man's probably got mad blockages in him. He can't get in touch with his emotional side.
But because he can do it. He's in the opening scene of Blade Runner 2049, and he's really good in it. He like sets the tone for the whole movie.
I do remember that scene.
It's like
Maybe
really
he should have cultivated that
When he's
kind
waiting,
of energy.
Ryan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he knows
Ryan
he's going to
Gosling
be
comes in to have the whole fight
deactivated,
scene.
and it's like a whole. I remember.
I did like him in that.
I remember being like, I couldn't believe it was Dave
But
Bautista.
maybe that's the thing. They had the right energy, like Blade
The right
Runner, and
director,
that
yeah.
scene is a great one for him. It suits him really well in that thing. You know, that
When he's
energy
stoic,
and then
he's
like,
very good at
this
being-
just seemed.
Yeah, stoic and quietly
So that's why I
broken.
felt like Army of the Dead tried to be like funny and kind of wholesome and thing, and then try and juxtapose it with these like really cool like slow motion shots and everything, and I was like, sigh.
Yeah. It felt like it, to
Popcorn was
quote
good, though.
Max's thing from recent weeks, I'm glad that I always love eating popcorn. But it seems like that movie, it didn't embrace exactly what it was or what it wanted to be. There was it seems like there were some tone confusions
Well,
versus
Ask
being one thing
Ask
and
Max
just
how
owning
long
it
he
fully.
even lasted. How long did
How
you
long
last
did you last
watching
into
the
the movie,
movie?
Max?
We were a little tipsy and we wanted to do a movie night, and we turned that on. And first off, props to Zack Snyder for opening with a Richard Cheese song. I was thrilled to hear it. I love Dick Cheese, and I will listen to his music till the end of time.
It's funny stuff.
That being said, we quickly
Down
realized
with
it
the
was
sickness.
we quickly realized it was not the vibe we were trying to cultivate for our evening, and turned it off in about 5 minutes. But I do want to go back.
There you go.
I do want to go back and watch it. It just
see it.
It was more a vibe thing. It was more like, oh, we're
Vibe check.
We're like happy, fun,
Natty.
drunk, and maybe zombie movie, maybe hardcore zombie movie is not it right now.
I mean, it wasn't even hot.
That's fair
trust
enough.
me,
I think
it's like a
maybe
soap opera at
Zack
times.
Snyder was not the vibe. I would not have also thrown on Watchmen or 300 or the 4-hour-long cut of Justice League.
at that time. right. But this,
Which
yeah,
I
mean,
enjoyed. I enjoyed
some of the-
that cut.
some
it's
of
not
the
best
goal
movie,
was-
but I liked it.
some
I
of
haven't
the-
seen it yet.
Which one?
The Snyder cut.
The Snyder cut of Justice League. I watched it. Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah.
what you were saying, Ariane? My B-dog.
Nah, I'm over it now.
Did I not cut you off? Okay. Something I wanted to ask.
No,
Ariane.
as in like a-
dude, nah, bro.
I was hoping-
I can't go there anymore.
Whatever the thought was, it left.
I'm not gonna tap
So
in.
you saw a scene. Okay,
I
you would
let it
say
go.
that.
Anisha.
Anisha. Army of the Dead.
What, you having
is this
a
what it's called,
stroke right now?
Batista's crying scene. Nah, bro, it's the leg. But Batista's crying scene was not good. I want to ask Max. Max, what is the first scene that comes to mind that you think is like the best crying scene that you've seen in a movie?
The first scene that came to mind was
Max's face.
Well, okay, because I'm sure I could pick like a air quotes better one. The first scene that came to mind, I think we talked about it on this podcast, was Margot Robbie in I, Tonya, when she's looking in the mirror.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
fucking
And like smiling and crying.
oh my god,
That's fucking acting, man.
She's that's a crazy.
That's how. Okay,
It's crazy.
that's how a crying scene
You
should
just
be
want to
done.
hold her and say it's
It's
okay.
just the first thing
It's
that
okay.
came to mind, but it's very it's a great it's really emotional, and
She's amazing
She
in
goes
it.
through so much with just her eyes
Yeah.
and like so many thoughts. Oof, very good, very very good scene.
I really got to see it. This is like the second time it's come up.
It's
In four
what's- she's
and
the
a half episodes.
best- She's the best part. It's like it's a good movie made great
She's
by
incredible.
her phenomenal performance.
Performance, yeah.
Yeah.
I have nothing against
wonderful.
the movie, but I think it's like bog standard, very good, and what blows it out of the water is just you can't take your eyes off of her. Do you
Yeah.
have
That's amazing.
a favorite crying scene? One that
I'm
comes
sure
to mind?
he
Oh,
does. I'm sure he does. I'm sure
He's
he's got
gonna pull
several.
out his
Whoa,
list,
whoa,
a little
whoa.
scroll.
Whoa. So the first one is, I don't know if you guys saw my scene
You
in
ever seen
viewings. No, I'm just kidding.
Confessions?
Crying is hard, dude. No, did you guys watch The
Me.
Walking Dead?
So I did a scene
early
once.
Yeah. But did you guys watch The Walking Dead or no?
No, I haven't
Yes,
seen
yeah,
it.
yeah, I
actually.
did a little bit.
There's a scene, I think it might be third season, but it's like when it's a season when they're like all staying in a prison, and somebody dies, but then the main guy, Andrew Lincoln as Rick, he had this thing where like he just, the way he cried, and then like he collapsed to the floor and like was so.
Is it the
his
meme where he's like,
grief?
oh no,
Yes,
no,
it has
no,
been.
no,
It
it's
has
that?
been memed so much.
You've seen that meme, right?
When I first saw that
no.
shit, before the meme, I was just, what struck me about it was I believed him, man.
In the
I was
heat
like,
of the
fucking- he
moment,
fell to
it's a
that
big
floor, dude.
choice. Yeah, in the
Yeah.
heat of the moment, it works.
Yeah,
And then you take
you
it
know?
out of context.
Yeah, dude, I would have
Now,
it quietly.
how long?
I thought
how long?
no, it's good.
How long has the original Walking Dead been going that season 3 counts as early on? Am I so out of touch? How many seasons does that show? have?
Dude, there's so
I feel
many
like they're at
spin-offs
least
as
on
well.
12, 13, 14, 15.
No, but right, the original.
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up right
Google
now.
it.
I'm gonna
So-
look up
what
how
else?
many
Savages.
seasons of Walking
there's-
Dead. Seasons.
Well, we'll all be quiet while Jeremy Googles.
Thank you. 10 okay, over 10
Yeah.
seasons.
10, yeah, 3's
There's
early
over
on.
10 seasons of the show.
That's 30%. Jesus.
Have you seen the most iconic one when they just killed that Steven Yeunov? It's crazy. Sorry
I
if
feel like
anyone
is
doesn't know
that
but
right?
I'm
Not
sure.
a major spoiler.
That's a brutal episode.
I mean, if you haven't watched that, bruv, if you don't know about it, it's
missed
been
it in
all,
the
I knew
culture,
about it
alright?
before I even
Like
watched
if
it.
It's
No,
no,
literally, I
longer
saw
in the
a meme about
It's
zeitgeist.
like the Red Wedding.
If they've made a meme about it, yeah. If they've
Yeah,
made
it's
a
like
meme
you know
about
who
it,
Luke's
like,
father
come
is, so
on.
that's too old.
Ariane,
Yeah.
do you have
Yeah.
a crying scene that comes to mind?
Now that we've made our
Right,
rounds.
come on.
I do. Royal Shakespeare Company.
What is it?
Hamlet.
Oh, there you
Stratford
go.
upon Avon.
In real
Set
life.
in West Ghana. Papa Esiedu. Youngest Hamlet to have ever performed at the
Right, right,
RSC.
Ariane
26
loves
years
Papa
old at the
Esiedu.
time. Graduate from Lambda.
26 years
All right.
old.
All right.
Oh, he's from Lambda.
He
Okay.
gave, bruv,
He's
no, I
from
was like,
Lambda. He's from Lambda.
as in he graduated, it makes sense in the UK, Max. It makes
He was born
sense.
in Lambda? Are
Yeah.
you saying he was born there?
Yeah.
No, he's
Born and
no,
raised.
he went to Lambda, so he's
He
from
was
Lambda.
born in the bathroom. At
They took care of him. All the teachers
amazing.
put all their... It is amazing. Ariane's
raised him.
pissed.
It
Ariane's
takes a
so
village.
fucking
Or-
mad that we're joking about
It
this
takes
right
a-
now.
This
It
is
takes
what
a
these
Lambda.
guys do. They ask me a question. And then just go on about how they disagree with it the whole time. Like I'll never get my
This is-
recommendation
it's a
of the week.
nonsense pod.
Just
No.
some skincare tips. They opposed it because they're men. They don't take care of themselves. We want to have dirty, poor-filled faces.
I believe in that. I never
Max is
once
like,
said
you
that.
can have
I
skin
don't want
cancer,
dirty,
it's still out.
poor-filled face.
It's like,
mean,
you can have
yeah,
skin cancer.
that's
It doesn't-
true.
You can do that and act.
But bro, no, I think that's amazing about Paapa and about Lambda. I actually, because you
Yeah, no,
guys
no, it
talked
was really
about it
good.
last time, I watched his To Be or Not to Be because they have the
Gotta
video, and he is. I mean, he's great. You know, he's a fantastic. It just really.
No, but that's
I
the
don't know,
thing.
man. It made me so excited about Shakespeare again. Like this. What were you gonna say, Ariane?
Yeah.
What's the thing?
Well, no. Well, like I know.
The play's
I
the
was
thing,
gonna say like
wherein we'll
seeing
catch
it,
the
seeing it
conscience of
live, but
the
just like seeing performance. Bruv, shut up.
No, it was Jeremy. There's, oh my god.
Either you're
just
lagging or
lag.
something.
There's
but every
lag.
time I speak, I
you
just
need to get used to it.
Oh
It's
my
lag,
God.
baby.
I kept thinking this guy's cutting me
Ariana,
off
the floor is
every
yours.
single time I'm
COVID
speaking.
area. It's lag.
Look, he just did it again.
Oh my god.
It's like every time I speak, I just hear his voice. And then I stop speaking because I'm like, oh, do you want to say something, Jeremy?
You were
what was
saying,
that? Oh, I was
Ariane?
going to basically say, oh my God, you just did it again. Okay. Basically, there is something to be said about seeing, just relating back to that crying thing, or like seeing it, you know, like what's the best crying scene. I think that's where theater like kind of has all of the, I mean, you just see it raw. It's like right there. So it always is going to affect you more. And I miss theater, and I want to see like a Shakespeare show live, man. Like I'm desperately trying to, you know.
I
Okay,
have a
you
new
can speak,
question for
Jeremy.
you guys. I'll ask Max first. Max, if there was any Shakespeare production that you could say, like, I'm going to put it up over the next few months, I'm going to play whatever role I want in it, and we're just going to do it in LA, what production and what role would you choose?
That's very hard.
Yeah, there's so many.
I probably would just probably Iago. I love Iago. I want to play Iago one day, and I feel like I could do that casting wise. Yeah, I think whatever. I don't need to get into the. You can make any Shakespeare production, I think, interesting in any time, but Iago is a role that I have always wanted to sink my teeth into. He's so fun. Very fun role.
Yeah. I can relate to that, dude. Would
Who would you love
Ariane
to
be
be in
your
the
Othello?
Shakespeare production with? Oh my God, bruv.
It's the I'm like scared to speak now. Ariane's getting so offended this week. I'm getting scared to talk. Who would I like to be in a
Jesus.
Shakespeare production with?
The correct answer is Ariane, no?
Yeah, you boys, my boys.
Woo!
That I don't know. That's actually a really good question. There's not.
Yeah. Could be a fun scene partner.
That's a very interesting question. I just don't know. I actually don't. I spend so much time just admiring other actors' work that I actually don't think much about, like, what if I got to work with them. I'm. That's a very
Really?
interesting. Yeah, I've never really noticed that, but yeah, I don't.
Damn.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's like I've thought on a surface level. Of course, I'd love to be like, but I don't think I could just name like. I mean, there's plenty of actors that I would love to work with, but I don't know if one comes to mind that's just like I want to do Shakespeare. Counterpart to this.
Papa Esiedu.
That's mine.
Jeremy, how'd you know?
There we go. I don't. It's just kind of
But
came to me.
I feel like
might
I
be
always,
a witch.
dude. I feel like I always like what, like I resonate with actors, and then I see them on screen and I'm like, shit, I would love to work with him. Like Riz Ahmed, like I want to work with him. I would love to work with every brown actor out there, literally.
Yeah.
Like, And
Yeah.
Leo would be nice, you know. Idris, Damson Idris. I want to do something with that guy. He's the dude from Snowfall. Leo would be nice. And
The main guy? Okay. Yeah, dude.
A villain
of course,
in a Scorsese flick. That would be nice.
That would be wild. But Ariane, what Shakespeare play? I love Iago as a choice. What Shakespeare play would you be in with Paapa Esiedu, and who would you play?
I mean, I mean, I don't know. I just want to do Hamlet, but he's obviously done it, so it'd be weird to do it with him.
Yeah.
Unless he's my dad.
He could be
he's
your
he's the
Laertes.
ghost. The father.
Yeah, I was
he's
going to
the
say, he could be Laertes.
He could.
Yeah. That'd be so funny. Papa! Oh, Papa!
Yeah.
Stupid.
Papa.
Don't say my
Literally,
real name,
Papa.
bro.
That's stupid.
That'd be fun. I would love to do that. Shout
That's
out.
so funny.
Shout out Paapa Esiedu.
Dude, you know... Yeah. Shout out Papa.
Wait.
You know what I would love to do with you guys, actually? Wait, what, Max? You
I was
say
going to
something?
say you're not getting out of this question, but you were about to answer it, so.
Oh, yeah.
The lag is a bitch tonight.
I know, it's okay. We're getting through it. But no, a play I got really into throughout CalArts to an extent, even though I've never read it, so just through monologues, but is Love's Labor's Lost. Is that one you guys are familiar with, like the plot? It's basically just...
I think so.
I had a former teacher who was like, he said it's not really done as much because the text is kind of tougher to get through. It's very, like the very, very wordy, and the sentences are a little... Like, I guess it really takes a lot of homework, like more so than other Shakespearean texts to kind of break it down. But the plot is, there's a king, and he has 3 dudes that are with him, and they're going to make a vow. We're just going to study, we're going to be academics, and we're just going to learn about the world and philosophy and everything. And we're going to forswear women and all the, and it's a comedy. And like, we're just not going to do anything bad. And then, of course, the princess is coming to town, and she has 3 girls with her. And so they all just, they fall in love secretly throughout it. And like the monologue that I love to do at school was like, it's Baroon, who's kind of like the main of like the 3 guys. And it's just about like, oh my God, why am I in love with this chick? She's like the ugliest one of the 3. And I'm falling like head over heels in love with her. And it just seemed like it'd be it seems like such a fun production to just do with like your boys and your gals, when you are in that age, or like, or what make like how they make movies of Shakespeare, like that's like more modernized.
Your gals and your boys. Yeah, that's the
things
that's
like that.
the thing, because there's so much, like there's so many meaty. Huh?
Which one? What was he in?
No. Like, I thought you were gonna say the Shakespeare films. I thought you were gonna talk about that.
Oh no, I was just going to quickly say there's so many amazing Shakespeare roles that I'd love to sink my teeth into, but it's impossible. It's impossible right now to be like, I mean, like Richard III and King Lear and stuff are amazing, but it's like I'm 25. Like that's right, you got to kind of grow into those a little bit.
Have you read The Year of the King?
No. Didn't Mary Lou suggest that one to us?
Yeah. He basically he speaks about one of the things that I remember from that is like he speaks of how he like almost contorted his body to look like a spider, like Richard, and like the way his physical movement, and that was like incredible. I think there's a video. Is there a video online? That'd be cool to watch.
Wait, is that Kevin Spacey's book?
Huh? No.
Is that Kevin Spacey's book?
Anthony Sher, the guy who was born in South Africa,
okay.
and then moved to the UK. South African guy.
Got it. Okay, good. Because I was like, oh shit, dude, we can't be plugging Kevin Spacey.
We can't be plugging the space, man. Not a good plug.
Trying to find this thing. I know, it's awful.
Oh, that's terrifying. Yeah.
Kevin Spacey did do that thing, that show.
Yeah, the documentary. Yeah.
About playing Richard. I know. Anyway. Is there anything you guys wanted to bring up? Were we saying something? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I wanted to ask this. Yeah, this. Because remember, so one of our teachers actually contacted us, Mike Bryant, and he's like a critical studies teacher there. He's great. And he asked us like if we could give him feedback, honestly, about what or how to make our experience better, probably for future students. And I wanted to ask you guys, if you, what you know now, at least having learned what you learned in the industry and kind of auditioning, talking to agents, managers, and all that, what would you have done in your fourth year at Calarts that would prepare you better for your experience outside of Calarts? Or at least for the first, maybe even for the first few months, to understanding what it's like in a year, to 3 years out, to understanding that it's a whole lifetime.
You're saying separately of what Mike Bryant asked us. Like, this is not related to what we would change about the school. This is like what we would do differently to set up.
Fourth year. Yeah. Like, what would you want? What would you have wanted, like, in your fourth year that you know now is like, oh, cool, that would have been sick to know or to have learned?
I would have tried to connect with somebody my age at USC that was going into the technical side of things, that was studying to be a casting director or an agent or something like that. Because I know there are people that go to school to learn how to manage artists, and I think it would have been really valuable to make a connection with somebody my age that was learning those things. And what are you learning? Here's what I'm learning. How can we both use this together to, you know?
Yeah. And so that would be like a school,
just to create
program,
things together.
School connecting program. Well, yeah, that like Calarts reaches out to USC and says, hey, you want to do a collaboration teaching event or something. That would be cool. That would be really cool.
Yeah, or even just getting together and saying, okay, you're trying to be a casting director, an agent, what have you. There's so much on the other side there's so much on that side. But yeah, even workshops. What do you see me pitched as? What, you know, I don't know. It's
what would be cool is to do mock auditions with them as the casting directors, obviously us as the actors, and then like material coming in where they have to cast for a bunch of shows and we come in to audition for those shows.
Right.
Like, just as like a fake, you know, like a mock audition set. That would be actually.
Yeah. I'm almost wondering this because I didn't prep my answer, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, the actors get a lot more out of that situation than the technical side of things. But
no, what if casting? No. If you had certain projects and you're like, you gave each person, hey, let's see like who you would cast, because casting is now recognized as like it is a vital part of the whole story in general.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So they get the experience to also learn how to be with actors and direct actors, give them notes. You know, also make decisions based on that stuff. So both parties are actually going through the whole audition practice. Because one thing that I've always heard from casting directors, they are more nervous than we are because their job is like on the line for this whole thing, you know?
Yeah, you know what? And that does quickly bring something to mind. It's amazing to me when you do some of these in-person auditions. A lot of these auditions that we do in person, the first round, you're not in front of a casting director. It's you alone in a room with a camera operator. And then they record you and they send it in. If you get a call back, typically that's going to be with the people who are casting. And then however many rounds after that. But the first round is always you alone in a room with a camera operator. How amazing it is to have a good camera operator. I've had two drastically different experiences. One for a recent commercial, the first one I did, in-person audition I got to do after quarantine, and the camera director was amazing. And he's like, hey man, I do have an idea for you. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, he was really playing with me and trying to play to my strengths because he thought he knew, and it wound up being an audition I walked out very happy with and proud of. And I've had other camera directors that have literally said to the group during the preamble, they're like, so the director thinks they want this for the role, but I don't think they know what they're talking about, so I want you guys to play it like this. They're like, the director says be sassy, but I think the director's an idiot. You need to be angry. And it's like, what and it's the camera operator's not going to be casting the project, and then it's like, who do I listen to and what's going on? So that just reminded me of that.
Yeah,
That's tough, dude. That's weird.
It is weird.
that is weird. That is weird.
The power plays. But you wouldn't have wanted like a class like on the business side of acting? Because we talked about that a lot in previous episodes,
I
right?
would.
I mean, I'm sure he would.
Yeah.
He just gave one answer. We're gonna have a whole list. So you can.
We're
talk
gonna
about the
have a
business side.
whole
We're gonna
list.
Talk about what you would.
What would I have loved? What did Max just say? He's going to the bathroom? Okay. Dude, I feel like my take is very... I think it just roots back to what you kind of set it up with, Ariane, where you were like, something that sets you up to realize like the lifetime endeavor that it is to be an artist. And I think that some teachers kind of tried to instill that in us, but I don't think in the clearest way. But like for me personally, like especially since I'm not actively like in the thick of the business, I guess right now, just valuing yourself as an artist and getting to a place where you're really detached from your ego in a way where you're encouraged to just make things every day and be creative every day and just like play. I think what Max was saying last week, the kind of attitude that Daniel Passer gave him, right? And just this kind of like natural curiosity and like looking at the world and because I guess I remember one time, dude, like Danny, another one of our classmates from Calarts, I think this might have been first year, and I was talking to him, and he was just saying like, oh yeah, like I want to come out of Calarts, like I want to become an artist. I want to feel like I'm an artist. And I think at the time that meant one thing to me. I thought about it in a different way, like in a vague way. I was like, oh yeah, cool, like an artist. What does that mean? Someone who's like, I think I maybe attach it to like pretense or a certain, maybe like you're specifically not trying to be commercially successful and you're trying to do things that are a little more off the beaten path, kooky, whatever. But now I very much have the mindset of just an artist is just somebody who is creative every day and excited every day to see like what they possibly might be able to like create, whether it's acting or filmmaking or whatever. Yeah, you know, and like just for me personally, I guess that's like mindset stuff that I would have appreciated in fourth year.
So yeah, no, I love that. It's like basically preparing you mentally for understanding that instant gratification isn't going to create longevity in your career, and like developing the mental
therapy.
Yeah, dude.
No, I love that. So dude, you know what else that reminded me of? Stephen Fry, and I've been thinking about this a lot. Stephen Fry's quote on like being an actor, how you said you're not just like you want to be someone who does something every day. It's like we should stop seeing ourselves as nouns and rather see ourselves as verbs, right? So instead of being like I'm an actor, no, you're an individual who acts, who may write, who may sing, who may dance.
I'm acting.
This is the quote. I just want to read it. He said, Oscar Wilde said that if you know what you want to be, then you inevitably become it. That is your punishment. But if you never know, then you can never be anything. There is truth to that. We are not nouns, we are verbs. I am not a thing, an actor, a writer. I am a person who does things. I write, I act. And I never know what I'm going to do next. I think you can be imprisoned if you think of yourself as a noun. And I really resonate with that, dude, because it allows...
It's beautiful.
limit your like confinement of your mental side and be like really open yourself up to creativity and be like, if I want to write, go write. If you want to do something creative every day, because I think it's inherent in humans to just naturally express and be creative. So why limit it one form of expression when we are naturally inherently meant to express in so many ways than one?
Yeah.
That's my TED Talk.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's a fucking gorgeous sentiment. That's a beautiful quote. I agree. It's something, because one of my biggest personal hills, or whatever you want to call it, is I have a really hard time with allowing myself to make bad art. Like I'm not afraid of looking like an idiot or anything like that, but there's always a little voice in my head that's like, why write this movie? What if it's not going to be good? And it's like, well, you can't complain about a screenplay being bad if you don't even have the screenplay. And it's kind of an excuse to, I mean, okay, big shout out to The War of Art, a great book that talks about exactly all of this.
Stephen Pressfield.
Yeah, it's that's like essential reading for any artist, in my opinion, because it's about writing. It doesn't even, it's not, but it's just about art. Yeah.
The practice.
Yeah, the practice.
Yeah. Dude, you know, when I was in Ernest Morero's screenplay class, he gave us this anecdote one day, and he brought in like New Yorker covers, and there were these really cool illustrations. And he was like, okay, so this is the same guy who made like, I think he's had 9 now, right? He's had 9 covers for the New Yorker picked up. So in that world, he's seen as very successful. And he was like, none of these covers were like, oh, I have the idea of what the cover is going to be, and then I go and paint it. Just literally, he has a practice every day. He'll go out to his shed in the backyard. He'll have the easel and the everything, and he'll just start painting. And like sometimes he has no ideas of what to paint. He'll find objects and play with like 3D modeling on the canvas, and he just makes something. And every single one of the covers has come out of that process, and that's something I think about a lot. And do you know? Something I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on too, in terms of like mindset in acting, is because like I feel like I had a really toxic mindset going into Calarts that I don't even know if I've been like fully transparent about it. But like I remember before I went to school, I read this thing that said like only 3% of actors will ever be like regulars on sitcoms, and then beyond that it's even more rare, right? And so I was like, oh shit, I have to be better than 97% of the other actors out there if I even want to have a chance of making money, you know, in Hollywood and doing it. And so like I feel like I kind of allowed myself to like feed the delusion pretty much my whole time at Calarts that hopefully something would click and I would be seen as so exceptional and I would be given these opportunities and I would just be able to make money and pay off my debt and all this stuff right after Calarts. And I'm just wondering, how much, if any, of those kinds of feelings did you guys feel? And also, I've heard stories of a lot of, I think, kids from other schools who come to LA thinking that, and as soon as they see the reality of LA, they've been acting for 7-8 years in school, high school, college, whatever. They have like a few months of LA and are like, I'm out. Oh, I'm not special. I'm not gonna just have a ticket to making a living here. I'm gonna go home and do something else. And yeah, so basically my question is, how arrogant were you guys, and how has your mindset changed from beginning Calarts to now? I love these smirks.
Well, it's a unique question.
I think you're gonna...
No, you.
No, you put your hand up, bro.
Oh, well, it's a bit of a segue because there's a great.
Deflect.
There's a really good book about dealing with that and mitigating it, but I think that's a bit of a different. That's not quite the answer. You're asking a bit of a different question.
Yeah, but it's in the same world.
Yeah. I mean, very.
Any relevant thoughts?
It wasn't even.
A different way of asking that. What a different way of asking that question is like, what were some acting prejudices that you believed before or going into Calarts? About acting.
I mean, I don't want to. Now you've both asked a question, and all I'm left to do is answer. So I want you two to chime in.
No. I'll try to answer that one. What prejudices? Okay,
Goofs.
one of them was that I didn't even think about the visa. At least from my perspective, I came here and I was just like, visa. I want visa. What the hell is, bro? I'm here to act, fam. Like, you know, I just came here and I was just thinking, like, someone will sort it out. It'll work itself out by, you know, just randomly. I think I also thought that, I mean, when I really like first got to Calarts, I think throughout the whole time there, I think my whole relationship, at least, or idea of what acting is changed, like completely. Or you understand, you know, like what acting
because first year viewings is such a big deal because I think for a lot of us, not all, I don't want to speak for anyone but myself, but I think a common thing is just like the applause, like associating acting with a perceived goal of success. This is one of the lessons that like Nataki taught us first year that I still really carry with me, where she'd always talk about a phantom menace. And it's really the same thing that you just brought up with that beautiful quote, Ariane. But like, if you think a character is something, it's going to be unattainable. If you seek applause, it's just never going to be enough applause. If you're rating yourself banked on how loud they clapped, then you're going to start getting in your head and, well, I saw this one person, and then you'll be, it constantly eludes you. I think associating it with money was another thing. Just the idea of success and art are kind of inherently counterproductive to each other. And there's a lot of people who try and put a worth on art, particularly in terms of numbers, whether it's money made or the amount of credits had, or the amount of covers or paintings. And don't get me wrong, it is awesome and amazing, and I strive to be able to live off of my art. That would be a dream, but it doesn't invalidate the art. It doesn't mean you should not create or that you're not an artist just because you don't have those numbers.
Yeah. Art regardless of the money. Do it because you actually want to. I get that for sure.
Yeah,
but I feel like that comes over time. It's like when you don't focus on the thing, you just kind of like, at least with acting, I never really I'll never really look at think, okay, this is the series regulated, you're gonna get this amount of money. Like, I think most of the time you're just like, shit, let me get this character. And what you said was like so true. Like, don't see characters as just one thing or being one thing. Like, they're whole, full, complex human beings. Is definitely, that was just a second point. It's like, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Well, Ariane, I guess to kind of clarify what I was getting at before, like, I told you how I thought of what I thought I was going to be as an actor, how it changed in Calarts and the realities and stuff. Did you, Ariane, think how you were going to go to Calarts, you were going to study acting, you're going to shoot out and like burn up Hollywood and get into like Scorsese flicks and things like that? You know what I mean? Did you see yourself as like that shining star, or like did you? Yeah, like you very much thought like that. That's how it was going to play out. Yeah, right. You have to, right, to go to acting school.
Let me ask you this. Forget acting school. Would you leave halfway across the country, convince your brown parents that you're not going to become a lawyer, even though you've got good grades? You're going to become an actor, travel halfway across the country, then get them to spend all this money on a bloody education that is very overpriced, for me to then be like, I don't really believe in
picturing it.
I believe. Man, you have to. There's no other way around it. Otherwise, like, you just, if it takes time, it takes time. That's one thing that I've understood. My thought of change hasn't drifted in that way, that I don't think that like I'll find success. Success will differ, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I know that it will. Whatever it is, I have to be patient, and it will take time.
Yeah.
Guarantee you, with God's help.
Okay.
And some hard work.
There we go.
A bit of luck.
Inshallah, we find Dory.
We find Dory, and Dory in this case is a metaphor for success.
Yeah, and that's what I didn't have is if it takes time, it takes time. My mindset was like, fuck that. It's not going to take time. Right. It's going to happen. Max, did you feel like a hot shit shooting star?
Yeah.
Coming through Calarts?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were like, I'm gonna fucking get into the A-list like soon after college.
It wasn't necessarily so grandiose, but it was,
yeah.
I was very young when I went to Calarts, and Calarts was kind of this white whale of a thing, and so to me, at the time, just getting into Calarts and getting to go was like, I fucking made it. I got into this school.
Yeah.
Like, fuck
That's
yeah,
fucking-
fuck you, I did it.
I felt that too.
Right, I did it. I'm
Yeah,
here
I was
now. I'm
stoked.
going to be a trained, studied, traditionally, classically. And then, yeah, I definitely, I thought I was loud. I was cast in all these shows my last year in high school or fucking whatever. Like, I definitely had a very, very, very different idea of the art form and reasons for doing it at the time. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and I think some of that's just being young and coming out of high school, and some of it's obviously the work and the things I've been exposed to. Some great books that have helped reframe how I think about things like that, and yeah. Well, it's so funny. It's so naturally segues. It's like been burning me up to bring it up. There's this phenomenal book called The Gift. It's written. Oh shit! There's two...
Art Under Capitalism.
Yeah. It's about art under capitalism and the idea that, so much of whatever we exist around money. Money is success, and like we were just talking about, art is success when it makes money. We put all this value on art, but it's this amazing book. It's kind of slow reading because the entire first half of the book is dedicated to the I guess anthropology might be the word of the culture of gift giving throughout all of human history. It examines how people have given gifts, how different cultures, all these places give gifts, and then it spends the second half basically posing the idea that art is not a product, it's a gift. And when you give a gift, you never expect something in return. If you give a gift and expect something, it's not really a gift, right? If you expect applause or if you expect money, if you're giving it to receive, you're not really giving something, you're transacting, you're trading. It's capitalism. Yeah,
I love this.
It's a brilliant book. So it's the
this.
idea of when you act for applause or whatever, all these things we're talking about, you're doing it in the name of capitalism, not in the name of
or instant gratification, at least.
Yeah. And so it's about reframing the idea of it's reframing this whole idea. Your art, it doesn't have to make money. It doesn't have to be good. If it's a part of you and you make it for the sake of sharing art, that is a gift for you to give the world, and whatever comes of it, the argument comes back to itself where basically it poses the idea that when you give a real gift that you do not expect anything in return. Exactly. And it talks about all these cultures, and a lot of other cultures, gifts weren't even meant to be kept. When you receive a gift, you are also receiving the idea of paying something for it. And I'm getting in it, but it's it really
all help each other.
reframed. Yeah, it really reframed how I examined just the idea of fucking all of it.
That reminds me of like when you said that, like you gotta give a gift without expecting. It's also like this is funny. I'm gonna get a bit religious, but I'm a Muslim anyway. There's a verse in the Quran that basically says when you give with your right hand. Why'd you say whoa, bruv? Anyway, when you give with your right hand.
I was playing with your joke.
Oh my god.
It's the lag. Wait, we gotta reset. You're thinking.
I'm gonna stop. Jeremy, don't speak.
When you give with your left hand.
What I'm saying. Oh my god. All right. When you give with your right hand, your left hand should not know what your right hand is doing. So don't do it and show. Like, don't be like, oh, it's to those people who donate $1 million and are like, I donated $1 million to this fund, and like,
oh yeah,
prejudice, it's like that type of thing, In that same way, it's like don't give with an egotistical mind at all, or a boastful mind.
Sure.
Because you have an abundance of it. Don't give like don't expect
those YouTube videos.
Yeah, you expect.
We give $50,000 away to. Yeah.
No. You seen those TikToks where they're like, I saw a homeless guy, and someone decided to help him. And then they like film it and they give food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nasty. It's
Jeremy, can I
it's
predict what
yeah,
it made
it
you
feels
think
gross.
of? Can I predict what,
What
it
did you-
made you
what do you
think
predict?
of? Are you going to say Drake's
what it made me
video for
think of.
God's plan?
No, but that's hilarious.
I really thought you
How'd
were
you
going to
thought
bring
that?
that up.
Yeah. No, when he's just giving stuff up. No, it's the idea you were talking about with the gift and the verse from the Quran Aryan's talking about. It made me think of passages from Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, like the one where it's talking about like a metaphor with like fruit, like branches bear fruits and leaves, right? That's how natural it is for mankind to do good. And I think you can make the parallel to make art, where it's like you do good and that's it. You don't think about it. You know, I feel like this similar idea is echoed through a lot of like wise texts. And something about art and capitalism that I always think of, and I wanted to know what you guys think about it. It's crazy to me that in a sense, it seems like it's always been the case that art is tied so much to money, in the sense of, I think of people like Leonardo da Vinci, right? Michelangelo, I don't know if Botticelli is one of them, but like the Italian Renaissance guys, and where it really was just like rich, you know, bloodshed filled families like the Medicis, other families who would just kind of pay like for their existence so they could just make art. And it also makes me think of, I don't know if A24 is like this, but I think Annapurna is. But there are movie production houses where the parents are like rich oil tycoons or rich, you know, energy barons. And so it's like the money is arguably made in kind of dirty, morally questionable ways. And it's like it goes into charity to support artists that, I don't know, found the right pinky to kiss. And what do you guys think of that?
I think two things. To address your second point, really, because I even talked about that last week too, how disheartening it was, or whatever when I talked about
nepotism.
it. But yeah, how disheartening it is to see all these up and coming artists in so many fields, and when you look at it, they're right. In regards to your first point, I think from a historical standpoint, it's first off, that's still like relatively limited. Like the artists you brought up are still pretty, I don't want to say modern, but like there's so much art history from way fucking long ago that has lasted through that didn't really exist in capitalistic societies. And like Shakespeare. But I think
cave paintings,
because a lot of those artists, you know, rose to prominence specifically because they were brought up by these families. But look at fucking Van Gogh, right? Like broke his shit, run out of town.
I always think of him too.
Right, and he's obviously the easiest example. But I do, and now as I try and think of any other, they're completely out of my head. But I do think there are examples of just real art fucking prevailing, for lack of a better word.
I have a question for both of you. Do you think it will become more expensive to consume art in the future? Like, unattainably expensive.
It already is.
Well, yeah.
TikTok is free, so I think that kind of shoots that in the foot right there.
That next question.
There's some art. There's some art on TikTok. Maybe people might ban it. America banned it at one point.
Yeah, because the Chinese intelligence thing. Can I say before we move on though, how fucked is it? Because valid points being brought up. How fucked is it to think of though that someone like Michelangelo got to live a lavish life off of his art while he was living because he knew how to kind of play the social game right, versus someone like Van Gogh, miserable, awful, mental illness, like troubled life, and then now people are making millions off of his art after the fact, you know? And all I'm saying is, I'd rather be a Michelangelo, baby. But anyway, I think it depends on the venue, Aryan. But yeah,
that's like that happens. That happens to rappers, man. Pop Smoke passed away, and
Pop Smoke.
He's not
He's a Van Gogh.
like he was but that's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
money or like art is commodified, and it's so sad. Art is commodified a lot more to make a lot more money after the artist has passed.
Yeah.
And it's like this whole reflect. They wouldn't even thought twice about Pop's.
Well, but
He passed away, and then it was in the news, and people were like, "Oh, he's good," and I was like, "Oh, being good."
then look at, and then I guess I don't even really know where I'm going with this, but like look at Basquiat's last few years, where he was thrust into the higher echelon by Andy fucking Warhol, and now he made so much off of it then, but I know he talked about the lifestyle was crazy for him, and he died so young, and now his pieces are like a lot of money. You know what very widely recognized. I think he's
things that are finite now, like that only have a limited amount now, because he's passed away. He can't make any more things, so humans just love that, right?
Yeah, didn't Roger have a fucking Basquiat like doodle or something
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that he was gifted?
That's sick.
He knew him.
Yeah.
He definitely
That's
knew him.
wild. That's wild to think
Yeah.
about.
Dude, you know what's so crazy? Did you guys see the news about the Charlie Bit Me video?
No.
Bro, that Charlie Bit Me YouTube video,
What
it's
was
sold
it?
as an NFT for like over $700,000.
That's infuriating. And I'm assuming
and
the
it's gonna
original
be
artist
deleted.
gets none, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Who's. I assume that it was the original video because the
gonna
original
be
video is
deleted
set
from
to be
YouTube.
deleted from YouTube. Yeah, and it was because it was sold as an NFT.
Get into NFTs.
It's
Sorry, the
crazy.
lag was
it's
crazy
crazy
for me.
thinking
Get into
about.
NFTs.
Well,
No worries.
Get
Yeah.
into
no.
NFTs.
I'll counterpoint
We're at an
that.
hour, by the
I'll
way.
counterpoint that.
So we'll. 15
Don't
minutes.
get
babies.
into NFTs. That's like when you buy. That's like when you buy a movie on. When you buy a digital video game.
Memorabilia.
When you buy a digital video game or when you buy a movie on Amazon Digital, you don't own it. You own the rights to it. And if Amazon wants to take away those rights, they can. So it is interesting how in the digital age, you do wind up buying a lot of these pieces of art in the specific context that you still wind up not owning.
Really?
Yeah,
You're saying
it is
that-
crazy to think
you're
about.
saying that if you buy an NFT, you're not. You just.
I am not talking about NFTs.
Oh, that's not really what we're talking about.
We're just talking about digital property in general.
No, I brought up.
Oh, just digital
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
Which I
I
think
see
is
how
really
it's related.
good.
Yeah, through Amazon.
Yeah, it's
An NFT, the NFT is like owning a baseball card. If they only give you the rights to two of them, but they can make more whenever they want. So it still doesn't hold value to the owner. Right, and it's all based on artificial inflation and whatever. I mean, this is like the polar opposite of what we were talking about between art as a gift, and now it's like
I know.
owning the rights to
NFTs.
consume. Yeah.
Yeah. Should we make Drama Queens NFTs, guys? No.
we should. We should.
You know what I think
we
about
should.
NFTs, bro?
I will.
If someone buys your NFT and you're rich now, good for you. To me, the idea of buying it, I would never in a million years spend my own money on an NFT because I just see it as so ephemeral and just so. It's like we couldn't make like a real thing, and like you're saying, it could be. It's like that Austin Kleon quote in "Show Your Work." It's like the internet is a copy machine, right? Like as soon as something hits digital, you can copy galore, you know? So I don't know. I think it's kind of crazy. I think it's another way for like the ultra rich to get more detached from the rest of society. Like I think that's what it could end up being.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you where it's really tough to criticize and, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and I don't want to criticize anybody for doing anything that doesn't hurt people at the end of the day. That being said,
that's true.
It's hard not to look at NFTs as a really cynical art form. It's definitely difficult for me to remove my biases and just kind of accept. But that's and it's what, it's, I brought up like BitClout a few weeks ago, and like there's, at the end of the day, there's people with money, it can be gratifying or exciting to spend disposable income on perceived culture, I guess is how I'd want to phrase that. So there's always gonna fucking be, and sometimes you get Michelangelo, where some rich fuck decides to pay an incredibly talented artist, and
Sugar
sometimes
daddies.
you don't, and it's just, who knows? I think Ariane's having some technical difficulties.
Should we just recommend while he's not? No, we need his input to be
I know,
like.
I feel so
"Bruh,
weird doing
lemon
this
water."
without. But that's such an interesting conversation. I'm like, let's call each other up once this is over, so people don't have to listen to you and I rant, and let's just talk about it for another few hours.
Rant about NFTs.
But
I know,
NFTs
dude.
and
We
Michelangelo.
will, bro. NFTs and Michelangelo, dude. I know. I always used to.
man.
We can't hear you, Ariane. I see you moving your lips though. I used to watch that shit and be like, dang, man, that'd be so amazing. They just pay for everything, and you just sit there and you just paint all day.
Watch what
Hey, I
shit?
painted the
You
roof
cut
of
out
this
right at the
chapel.
beginning. Oh.
You know, like the way those guys lived under patronage.
Oh, it's crazy.
Where it's like they're probably just fucking
it's
eating
crazy.
prosciutto and
Yeah.
just fucking paint the
Right.
roof of the church.
Like-
Okay.
Okay, thank you, puppy. Oh my god.
Because Michelangelo they think was definitely gay, right? So.
Oh damn, Ariana left.
I can
Dude,
hear
you know
I
what's
can hear you.
Okay, you
Okay,
can
we
hear
can
us?
hear you.
Okay. Let's get into recommendations. Something real quick I was going to say, though. Did you guys... I freaking was looking at the Joe Rogan podcast the other day. You know that guy does like 3 to 3.5 hour long podcasts a week? That's
Yes,
insane to me,
yeah,
dude.
He has interesting ass people and just fucking goes on for hours.
I know. And to think about the prep work his team must have to do to like read their books or watch their movies and then like assemble questions for their lives. Anyway, Ariane, you're recording. You're okay?
No, I'm trying. So I lost the audio, by the way. Fucking hell, man.
For tonight?
So
Oh no.
25 minutes, and it's not even actually. No, it's not even letting. It says error opening sound device.
We got to get Best Buy over at your house before the next podcast.
I mean, bro,
The Geek Squad.
this shit, dude. Is my laptop just that shit? Like,
Ariane, what's your recommendation? I don't know what I'm going to recommend this week, dude.
you guys go first.
Oh god. Hey, figure it out after Rex. You don't need to figure it out right now.
I'm not. I'm just. I love this. I hate this fucking laptop.
I know. It's all right, dude.
Break it, dude.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, what should I recommend? You know what I'll recommend, bro? I'm going to recommend the first 40 minutes of Dead Poets Society because last night I just started. I've never seen it before, but I started watching it last night for the first time. I know, but I was watching it on Disney Plus. Bro, there's plenty of movies I've never seen, and there's plenty of movies that I have seen.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Very Jeremy movie, though, I would say.
Oh, I was thoroughly enjoying it. That's why I'm recommending it, because the part where Robin Williams is like, we didn't read poetry, the words dripped honey from our tongues. And I was like, fuck yeah, they did, Robin Williams. But the first 40 minutes, they just, spoiler alert, movie from the late 80s, they just got into like the cave to reconvene the society for the first time. They're figuring it out. I'm excited to watch tonight and see what happens in the rest of the movie. But I feel like an appreciation of language and the beauty that poetry can have is definitely going away in our society. You know, it's all about the melody these days. It's not about the words anymore. And I'm as guilty of that as anyone. But that's my recommendation. He's a proper Wordsworth.
I'm going to go ahead and recommend the remaining 60 minutes of Dead Poets Society to Jeremy. I really think you should finish that
You
movie.
didn't finish.
Cool.
No,
Bro, it was my bedtime. It was my bedtime, dude. I'm not gonna stay up watching. I gotta go to
What
sleep.
time is your bedtime?
I always sleep by midnight, dude. I'm always in
that's
bed by
commendable.
midnight. Thank you.
I will legitimately recommend. Good lad. I will legitimately recommend. I started rereading House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. I think that's the middle
That's
initial.
quite a name.
It's a really long book. It's one of the scariest pieces of art I've ever consumed. It's really, really just scary shit. It's really scary
terrifying.
shit.
And it's a book, and you're terrified.
Yeah.
That's challenging. That's hard to do.
I agree.
How do you make a book scary?
It's written really uniquely. It's got several layers of kind of meta text to it. So the author, the editors got some notes in the book. Like it's all fiction. So there's the editor, then there's the author, then there's the main character, and then the main character finds his dead neighbor's diary, and the neighbor's diary talks about a documentary that doesn't exist. And in that documentary, it's about a guy that moves to his house with his family that's falling apart, and when he's measuring out the house, doing like home renovations, he measures the inside and then he measures the outside, and there's 1 extra inch on the inside of the house that isn't on the outside. And then it's all translated through this neighbor's diary, then through the main character, who's this really fucked up guy on drugs, and then you've got the editor, so it like breaks into the real world, and it's written like a government document at times, and it's so hard to explain. I didn't think
That's
a book would
spooky.
scare me that badly. The first time I finished it, I was sleeping with the TV on because I didn't want to like have a dark, quiet room all to myself. It's like a really fucking scary
Yeah.
book, I swear.
That sounds like quite an experience. Okay, Ariane, close us out, Ariane, with your recommendation.
Recommendation of the week is this app/website called Rome Research. All right, now listen to this. This is actually sick. So it's basically like a note-taking app or website that uses bi-directional linking, which means that you basically can link. If you take notes about, or like it takes your highlights from Kindle, and if you just take notes on whatever, let's say you read a book on meditation, right? And now you're taking notes on meditation. Everything that talks about meditation, you link it into this like bracket thing, and then everything you've ever read or consumed about meditation is now underneath the bracket. And it has this like really cool graph metric that you can like, you see exactly what links to what links to what link. Like, you know, on Wikipedia, they basically say you get from one place, you can get from McDonald's to Miley Cyrus or something like that. So it uses like lateral thinking and this bi-directional linking so that essentially you can understand where your train of thought comes from. It's really
It looks cool. I'm looking at it right now. It looks cool.
So like, yeah, it's really awesome.
That sounds wild, dude.
Dude, it's amazing because it'll change your way of note taking forever, because that's how it mimics the brain. That's how the brain thinks. With like, you have one thing and then it's filters all the things
Yeah.
underneath that have been you've been associated with. So it's really cool if you like taking, I don't know, if you take notes when you read books, or if you
That's
highlight
sick.
shit when you use your Kindle. That I recommend.
It's like organization.
Well,
Go, buddy.
if you were listening,
That's dope.
God help you.
And inshallah,
Shala.
We shall find Dory.
I think I was gonna leave
All
that. I
right.
was gonna leave it up to Jeremy to say that.
I thought we would all say it together, and then the lag probably.
We could
That
do
was,
it
I
that
liked
way.
saying it. Like, I like
Next
both of us
time-
saying it.
We'll all give it a go.
Next
Jeremy,
time, my audio. We'll
Hell
see
yeah.
how-
Jeremy, drive safe
Alright.
to the airport, folks. Hopefully, we can recover this
Thank
audio.
you.
We'll see you next week. Love
I
you,
know.
boys.
we can
Yeah.
recover this.
Love you boys too, bro. That sounds like a sick app. I know. I'll make a folder within, like, I don't know, while I'm driving, and then We'll see what we can
Chillin'.
piece together.
I'll see
Alright.
what I can send you. I'll see what I can send. Maybe we'll have.
Peace.
Bye, boys. Bye, listeners. Thank you.
I'll text you guys about the Joe Rogan experience.
Do it.